Now, live on 10 Tampa Bay, keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. The news starts right now.
And we start this noon with one of St. Pete's largest drug busts in the last 20 years. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay. I'm Frank Wiley. In the last hour, Police Chief Anthony Holloway announcing details of Operation Cookie Dough. He says a tip led them to 3 suspected drug traffickers. Police seizing 10 kilos of fentanyl, 10 kilos of cocaine and other drugs, and more than $500,000. 2 men, David Watson and Kelvin Masonette, are in jail on multiple trafficking charges. Police are still looking for the third man, Alexander Graham. The chief says they had enough drugs to kill millions of people.
You hear a lot about fentanyl. You know, most people will tell you that if you look at a sugar packet, if I was to throw it in this room right now, it could kill everybody in this room. So imagine how much a sugar packet is in there, say a gram or half a gram, and we're talking 10 kilos.
If you know where Alexander Graham is, call St. Pete Police right away. Another major bust in Citrus County within the last hour. Attorney General Ashley Moody joining the sheriff's office and announcing the details. The undercover investigation involving a local medical clinic accused of operating as an illegal pill mill. Investigators say the owner and some of the workers at the Tri-County Medical Clinic in Crystal River used their positions to get opioids to sell through a crime ring. The sheriff explains how they're accused of doing it.
Send multiple pharmacies these prescriptions all across the state for patients that were not legitimate patients, patients that had never even been seen by the doctor. In turn, Scriven and Johnson would receive cash payments from buyers and then pocket that money and use it for continuing their illicit trade in narcotics.
That clinic now closed. The sheriff says this investigation also led to the discovery of dozens of stolen guns and cars. He says they expect to make more arrests as they continue to investigate. This just into the newsroom. Tampa police arresting the man they say drove a semi through a gentleman's club, killing 1 person. Police say Giovanni Soto died in the crash. 2 others were hurt, but have been released from the hospital. Sky 10 flew over the Emperor's Club on East Adamo Drive Tuesday morning. Dylan Fogel is accused of driving toward the behavior. Tampa PD says 6 people, including 3 victims, were standing on a loading dock at the time. Detectives say alcohol was a contributing factor in that crash. Fogel facing several charges now. Now to this update out of Sarasota. Booker Middle School says a 12-year-old student now stable at the hospital 3 days after her mother accidentally hit her with her SUV. All of this happening on the first day of school after the girl's mom dropped her off. The school district says it is supporting the family. Want to turn to your weather impact forecast. Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskin standing by. Bobby, what's the word?
Well, we're keeping a close eye on Ernesto as it's moving by well to our east. And in fact, it's over 800 miles from Tampa. But you can see this flow that's happening here off the southeast coastline. That is a frontal boundary, believe it or not, that's coming our way. And that's the leading edge of some of the drier air. But before it gets here, we get some rain. Now, Bermuda, they're seeing some rain from an old boundary there. And then this will move towards them. And it looks like it is going to be strong too. We're talking right now winds at 85 miles per hour, but close to about 105 to 110 as it moves through the Bermuda area and then weakens as it moves northward and over some cooler water. So we'll have a closer look at that coming up, but this is what we're watching for the next couple of days. That flow will bring in some of the drier air. I'll show you some of those numbers coming up. It's going to feel fantastic as we get into the weekend. And I think even late tomorrow afternoon, we'll feel the difference. Right now, we're starting to pop up some showers, especially over on the East Coast. This activity will continue to move toward the south and the west towards us, and we'll pop up some more showers and storms on our own here. So rain chance going pretty good by the time we get towards this afternoon, 50 to 60%. Some areas will see a little bit higher chance than that. After that, though, it looks dry for most of the weekend. I'll have that forecast coming up, too.
All right, thank you, Bobby. Meantime, the family of a Brandon woman mourns as her son is in jail, accused of killing her. Julie Ayler's loved ones say repeated calls to get help for her son, John, did not get anywhere.
My mom was for you. She'll take you wherever you got to go. Like, she didn't deserve this. He was homeless and he was a drug addict and he wasn't supposed to be here. I've called 211. My mom's called 211.
Learn from this.
Calls to 211 in Hillsborough County go to the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. it did not directly confirm or deny those claims. Its CEO says it is possible to have.
I'm hopeful that we can learn from this as a system of care to figure out where were the places where we could have intervened better.
Julie Ayler's family is raising funds for a funeral. Her son John is charged with first-degree murder. He is set to return to court tomorrow. This afternoon, the state has until tomorrow to decide on a new appeal from a man who was set to be executed. Lauren Cole was convicted of killing a Florida State student back in 1994. His attorney argues his Parkinson's symptoms make it impossible for him to be executed humanely. Cole says the jury did not know he was abused at the Dozier School for Boys last week. The Marion County judge rejecting the arguments, saying they should have been brought up in Cole's previous appeals. He is set to be executed August 29th. This afternoon, early voting locations for Florida next week for the primaries open right now. Election officials say nearly 1.2 million Floridians have already cast their ballots, too. Officials saying more Democrats have voted by mail than Republicans. Early voting sites will close this weekend, so go ahead and check your county for details. I want to go ahead and get you in the know with some of the other stories making headlines this afternoon. Starting here, one person arrested in connection to Matthew Perry's death. That is according to the Associated Press. The Friends actor was found dead in a hot tub last year. His autopsy found that the amount of ketamine in his blood was in the range used during surgery. We are expecting to learn more details from law enforcement later this afternoon. Meantime, the Justice Department is urging a federal judge to accept a plea deal with Boeing. That deal requires the company to plead guilty to one criminal fraud conspiracy and that charge and pay at least $243 billion in fines. In a new court filing, the DOJ arguing the deal is a strong resolution that holds Boeing accountable. The families of victims in the 2018 and 19 737 MAX crashes are against that agreement. I want to show you this video from Hillsborough County. Deputies searching for a missing woman with Alzheimer's for more than an hour. That was in Brandon, too. A canine officer found the 76-year-old walking barefoot just minutes away from home. We checked and that woman was not hurt, thankfully, back home safe this afternoon. Talking about extra cash here, an online post says a Cash App settlement offers thousands of dollars. And if you see something you would like us to verify, you can email your questions to verify@10tampabay.com or text that number right there, 727-577-8522. Coming up this midday, Hurricane Ernesto leaving most of Puerto Rico in the dark. This as folks across the island pick up the pieces.
10 Tampa Bay closed captioning is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Mornings on 10 Tampa Bay will keep you informed. Streets are blocked off. Prepared.
We're going to help you get to work on time.
And connected.
We're going to continue to follow these storms. Watch 10 Tampa Bay starting at 4:30.
Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay with Courtney Robinson, Frank Wiley, and Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. 10 Tampa Bay is live right now.
Told you about this before the break. This afternoon, a long cleanup underway now after when that storm moved through. Rivers there are swollen. Many roads are blocked by downed trees and power lines, just like that right there. Some communities came close to 10 inches of rain. FEMA now responding in Puerto Rico after President Biden approving a state of emergency. Ernesto also causing serious damage to the U.S. Virgin Islands. That video shows a boat flipped by the winds. Also heavy rain causing flooding across the islands. All public schools closed for cleanup efforts, as you can imagine, and there are safety checks. And right now in Polk County, the city of Bartow under a state of emergency over flooding from the Peace River. We've told you about this. All of this coming more than a week after Hurricane Debbie. City leaders are holding a community meeting tonight, 6 o'clock, inside the Carver Rec Center about the flooding concerns there. The river is approaching a level of 8 feet. And in Tallahassee, Florida's Insurance Regulation Office now projects more than $113 million in losses from Debbie. That is up from $94 million last week. And we just checked. There are more than 15,000 claims related to, the aftermath.
Absolutely. We're dealing with that for a while. The Bartow, the Peace River in Bartow, looks like it's crested.
Sure.
It's about as high as it's going to go, I think. Likely very, very slowly coming down. But it means something, right? When you see that water coming up, to know that it's not going to come up much more. And that's the good news. I do think it will slowly be coming down over the next several days. We don't have a lot of rain right now, but today will actually be our best chance to see rain in the forecast, especially later this afternoon. And that's with that frontal boundary. It's hard to even say in August, right? We have a backdoor cold front coming through this afternoon. So the best time to be here at the beach is right now. The next several hours, we'll start to pop up a few showers just inland from the beach. And then 4, 5, 6 o'clock, probably closer to 6 o'clock, we'll have some decent shower chances there. 88 right now, 102 is what it feels. 92 is the air temperature in Lutz, 88 in Lakeland, 89 in Dunedin, 92 in Seminole, 95 in Ruskin and Sun City Center, always warm out there, 91 Land Lakes, Wesley Chapel, we're about the same at 90, Newport Richie's there as well. Now, rain chances. So this will stay offshore, not worried about that. You see what's happening right here, right around Madeira Beach, Indian Rocks? That is a little shower and thunderstorm popping up. I think we'll see more of that right here along the coast next couple of hours. Then we start watching this. While this just kind of bubbles up, this will bubble up and move back towards the coast, and that will increase our rain chances later today. So Dade City, that shower is just kind of drifting more south of you now, but you'll have another chance coming up late this afternoon. Not much right now, Pinellas and Hillsborough, except for that one right there out on the beach. And Manatee and Sarasota County will be doing the same. We're quiet now, but we'll be popping these up here along and west of I-75 through about 2 o'clock right now. Then they'll work their way inland, and then here comes the front. And so with here, and I think the rain chances are really low, not only for Friday, but for Saturday, for Sunday as well. So we're going to stay basically on the drier side. And the key to all of this is that the humidity will drop. Those dew points will drop, and it will feel a whole lot better out there. So here we are this evening, down through the 70s. Or down through the 80s, I should say, into the 70s. There's Hurricane Ernesto again, an 85-mile-per-hour wind, continuing to move to the north. So it'll stay well away from us, but it's picking up swell. That will get into the coast, in fact, starting later tonight, but especially in the Carolinas as we get into tomorrow and over the weekend. So rip current risks, that type of stuff is something they'll be dealing with. Surfers could absolutely love that. Bermuda, not so much. 105-mile-per-hour winds by Friday night, just offshore Bermuda. Hurricane warnings in effect for them now. Looks like about 100 to 110-mile-per-hour winds as it moves by. I don't think most of the island will see most of that, but they will certainly see winds in the 80, 90-mile-per-hour range. That will continue to move to the north and the east, stay safe from us, but that is what pulls in the drier air for us as we get going into tomorrow. This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. See the lighter greens? Already starting to feel a little less humid out there for you. You're going to love it. And then dew points going to the 60s. This is Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. But what that also means is that the morning hours can get almost as cool as those numbers. So if you're not right by the immediate water, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, temperatures will be in the mid to upper 60s to get the day started. Runners, you're going to love this because it's a lot easier to run in these lower dew points than it is in the higher dew points. Now look, it's not a huge drop. It's not feeling like fall or Halloween's coming, right? But it's noticeable. It does slowly come back as we get into next week. But I do think it's not back up to near 80 or upper 70s like we've been when Debbie came around. So it will be more humid next week, but a little bit more comfortable than what we have seen. 92 on Saturday, 92 on Sunday. Dry both days. How about that? Looks really good. Staying warm, of course, in the afternoons, but the mornings, Frank, they're going to be nice.
The whole time I'm running, I'm just saying, Bobby said I would love this right here. Got to watch how your body responds to summer heat, too. Staying outside for too long increases your risk of stroke. Doctors say not having enough water in your body can make your blood more likely to clot. While older folks with pre-existing conditions may be at a higher risk, everyone should be careful out there. It is important to stay hydrated, avoid doing too much outside. Also, stay inside during the hottest parts of the day.
Anytime the heat generally is over 90 degrees, not as an absolute rule, but in general to be mindful that there's an increased risk of physical exhaustion, which that in turn can add incredible stress on the body. And in those folks who are susceptible can increase the risk of stroke.
Yeah, he says you should call 911 right away if you or someone you know is experiencing those stroke symptoms. Happening tomorrow, the city of Tampa's popular e-bike voucher program will reopen. The city will take applications for this fall, too. The vouchers take up to $3,000 off the cost of a new e-bike. From Mayor Jane Castor says that program helps improve transportation in Tampa. So if you applied in the spring, but you weren't selected, you were automatically enrolled. You can apply on that free 10 Tampa Bay app. Just ahead this midday, a new space for Beatles fans out there to come together, where the Bay Area's Beatles Museum is planning to move. The Bay Area's Beatles Museum will say goodbye to Dunedin and hello to Ybor City. Here's why. The owners of Penny Lane announcing it will move to its new spot in the fall of 2025. They say they are expected to expand the attraction too. Penny Lane has been located in downtown Dunedin since 2017. Big fan, Bobby?
Yeah, of course. Of a lot of music that we listen to now.
Absolutely.
I've talked about how it's drier, right? When we get this drier air in, we're not going to see as much rain over the upcoming weekend. You can see the coverage is just 10% or less all the way through Sunday. And then really, to be honest with you, slowly coming back on Monday. But that humidity dropping also means the heat index drops. So instead of 105, 106, 107, it's going to feel more like the mid to upper 90s, which for us, it feels better.
Take what you can get.
Yeah.
We'll be back here at 5.
10 Tampa Bay Midday is sponsored by West Shore Home. Call for a free quote.